that is causing that child to be in that fight or flight state? Is there something that was missed during this process in the beginning that is leading us to the... Dr. Anthony Pellegrino here, and many of you guys know that for the past 7 years, I have been diligently working to educate our community, parents, providers, pediatricians, whoever will listen, on many of the overlooked underlying factors related to sensory processing issues, gut-brain development, neurodevelopmental challenges. And typically, we do a workshop in our office where we have 60 to 90 minutes to break down all of the different underlying factors of what we see on a daily basis and what typical brain development can look like and what deflections off of that path show up as. But I'm going to do my best to make this as easy as I can and break this down quickly. Easy is our number one priority. And when we talk about making this easy, one of the most important things that we see is that the children that we meet in our office, well, their body isn't in a state of ease. Now, many of us have heard of the concept of fight or flight. If there was a bear trying to attack you in this room, your heart rate's going to go up, you're going to breathe deeper, your digestive system is going to shut down because your brain doesn't care about digestion. You're going to shunt blood away from your vital organs, away from your stomach and your reproductive organs into the muscles so you can either run or fight to escape that tiger. And for many of us who are under massive amounts of stress, which shows up in 3 ways: physically, we'll talk more about that, chemically, and emotionally, much of this stress can actually shift our body to a fight or flight, not at easy state. Now, the problem is that we can't be both on the gas and the brake at the same time, so we can't be in a fight or flight state and in the opposite, rest and digest. Now, if you could ask which one of these you'd rather have your child doing, trying to fight or run away, or in resting and digesting, obviously the answer is there. We want to see more resting and digesting. But if their body isn't at a state of ease, it can lead to different challenges. Which brings us to point number 3, is that many of these kids that we see, their first year of life, they're coming into this world, it probably wasn't easy. We have conversations with parents all the time, and we see that there's lots of massive amount of fertility stress, lots of stress prenatally, different things that might happen during a stressful, risk-based pregnancy. And about 85 to 90% of the time, what we have seen is that even this child coming into the world, their birth process wasn't easy either. Whether it's via Pitocin, which causes the uterus to contract more strongly, or vacuum extractions or forceps, or cesarean section, what we find is that oftentimes when we see these challenges, the risk or the rates of intervention are much higher because they're coming into the world harder. Obviously, all of these interventions should be used in life-saving scenarios, so I'm not necessarily saying that they're wrong or they're bad when used appropriately. What I am saying is that if there's something that was immediately causing difficulty getting our body into a state of ease as we come into the world, then that's something that we should know and should be addressed. And that brings us to not just the birth process itself, but a lot of these kids had a difficult 0 to 3. We might have difficulties with colic or reflux as an infant, difficulty breastfeeding as we had difficulties turning our head from side to side, maybe because of subluxation or misalignment of the upper neck and the cranium and the TMJ. And we had problems with plumbing and pooping. We had difficulty with constipation, maybe difficulty sleeping at night because babies are supposed to do 3 things, which is eat, sleep, and poop. Difficulty with any of those 3 things can be because the body nervous system isn't in a state of ease. From there, we grow out of that problem, but many of you guys have noticed we never grow out of something, we always grow into something else. So we grow out of these problems as an infant, but what that becomes more is a child who's constantly sick, the croup, the RSV, the ear infections chronically. Well, this is just because the ears are flat like this. Well, maybe it also is because of other drainage issues. And we continue to grow out of those things from 0 to 3, and it shows up as the sensory issues, the difficulty with clothing, the phone calls that we get from home, the wondering, is my child a bad kid or is there something else going on? There's no such thing as a bad kid. Behaviors are windows to the brain. So what you've done is you have taken the hard road, okay? You have done everything that you are supposed to do. I've done PT, OT, speech, visual processing. I've seen my doctor. I've tried medications, essential oils. I've gotten rid of every chemical in the house. Oh my gosh, I'm using baking soda or whatever. Tide does not touch my child's clothes. We've cut gluten, we've cut dairy, we've cut this, we've cut that. We've revamped our whole life, and it's gotten to a place and we have plateaued. You guys have done everything, and we have this conversation all the time. I know where you're at because I've sat across from you, your sisters, your friends, your cousins, every day having this conversation. And you're stressed, you're worn out, you're burnt out. There might be one thing that is missing. The most important thing that we look at is a plan. We use specific technologies to look at, is the nervous system in a state of ease? Is there irritation on the nerves that is causing that child to be in that fight or flight state? Is there something that was missed during this process in the beginning that is leading us to the road that we're at? We put together a specific tailored plan to be able to address those underlying issues, help each and every child blossom at 100% the way that they deserve. This can show up in their lives in a million different ways. Maybe it's just more two-way, receptive and expressive language. Maybe it's a child who stims a bit less, picks less at their nails. Maybe it's a child who just poops better or sleeps better. What we know is that each child deserves the opportunity to have their body, their nervous system in a state of ease and see what it is like as they begin to unwind and blossom into the child that they deserve to be. I have a workshop coming up over the next couple weeks going through this exact topic, going through exactly what this looks like, what neurotypical and deflected brain development looks like, and most importantly, the plan that you all can take specific to yourself, begin to do to really help your child develop at 100%. Comment workshop below, and I would love to get you the information, to get you there, to get registered, to learn more about the one thing that you have been missing. See if it makes that little bit of difference.